Alberto, you mentioned the explosivity and power of the plant deck, the Rikkas as well as the Sun Avalon cards combining together. Now the amazing thing is, if you told anyone 15 years ago a singular normal monster could create such a powerful end field, I wouldn't believe it.
Yeah,
and there it is.
Loci.
Yeah.
All right, so I think I'm fairly familiar with this combo. This did actually just recently release in Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel, and I've been having a lot of fun with that. So, yeah, this is your first Link monster that gets you your Sunvine Sowing, and from there, well, you have an incredible way to get to a lot of those Rikka engines and the disruption as well with the field spell, which is actually very similar in some ways to Lair of Darkness, isn't it?
Yeah, it is definitely the key card to the success, especially because it allows the deck to perform very well, even going second, to just get rid of the already established board field. And we can see that in the deck list there is actually quite a few changes from what they played at the European Championship, because we see the Therion package, which wasn't there.
Yeah. I think this gives a lot of consistency as well, especially because this deck relies on exquisite monsters as well. I mean, we have seen how powerful the Sacred 3 Beast and the Teardrop the Rikka Queen are. And here, if Jovan, who I think is playing maybe just impermanence, no, he's not playing any interruptions in his deck.
Wow.
So we will see the Rikka deck in full action.
So here's the amazing interaction that Arrow Mage Jasmine has with this deck. Whenever you gain life points, you're able to search any plant monster from your deck to your hand. And I think this is where you obtain your Rikka Madan, and that is the one that gets you that incredible field spell. Oh, actually going for the Lily Borea here. So as you mentioned, this was a different sort of engine played compared to the European Championship deck, which is using the Therion engine.
Yeah. I think this also, as you mentioned, Marcello, basically when people are not prepared to play against this kind of deck is even better, right? So if adding you know, some spicy, let's say, to your deck, and people don't really know how to stop you, maybe this it's you know, gives you a little bit of advantage. So I really like this.
And this essentially gives Jessica another layer of protection against any possible cards in the side deck, as well as a rank 8 option, if that's what she wants to go for. So
here's the resolution of the Arrow Mage Jasmine, just a Lone Fire Blossom style card, tributing a monster that it points to special summon any plant from the deck. Actually goes for the Lone Fire Blossom, yeah, the original one. And tributes away the Lily Borea, and I think that's because you want your Therion monsters in the graveyard to then be able to special out another Therion monster. Noticing that the field spell did not search for Regulus is usually the sort of... There it is, hard drawing the Regulus there.
This is a great opening.
So from this point onwards, you're protected for the rest of your combo because you have the Therion Regulus, which simply reads, negate a card that your opponent controls by sending a Therion card that you control. So for the rest of this combo, Jessica's going to be completely uninhibited.
Yeah, essentially you have the protection from the Nibiru or any possible evenly matched in the main deck. But it's worth mentioning that Jovan is maining a card that might actually be really strong in this match, and that we have yet not seen this weekend. That is the Kurikara. 3 copies in the main deck.
Yeah.
So Kurikara is an interesting card. It reads, you contribute all monsters your opponent controls that activated their effect this turn. And generally, if you're able to force out a lot of your opponent's activations by using all of those monsters, then you can just simply tribute them all off for the effect. Probably mostly for the Kashtira matchup, but it has some overlap here. Plants are a deck that just have such an incredible legacy in Yu-Gi-Oh! You know, we've seen so many different variations of this type.
Absolutely.
Now, I don't think Jessica's going to be playing any Dandelions or Tengus in here, but the closest thing to that, I suppose, is going to be the Sun Avalon Link 3 monster, which simply revives a Loci back from the graveyard, allowing you to go into some link climbing.
And I think this is the best opening ever that she will ever ask for, because having no interruptions on the field here, I think she will have at least 3 to 4 of them. So.
Yeah, I mean, we mentioned how simply drawing the normal monster, the Loci, is enough.
Yeah.
But when you have the Therion package, it's just the cherry on top, and it makes this even tougher to combat. And yeah.
So this is what we're doing. We're going into the third engine of the deck. We've seen Therians, we've seen Sun Avalon, and this is where the Rick has really started to shine here. Madan getting the Glamour, which I think is picking up a Princess there. And I'm assuming there's going to be a field spell that's already been drawn that will be used at this point. Field spell is very, very powerful in this deck. Just the ability to tribute your opponent's monsters for the effects of your Rikkas.
It's arguably the best card in the deck, what makes it really shine. We just roaming around the tables, we saw some players using even Pollinosis as a deck card, maybe when going first. So yeah.
Is that the negate when you control?
Yeah, the solemn judgment for plants, let's say. Yeah. So
I think the last time I played that card was in a draft. Battle pack draft.
Yeah.
All right, so this is a really, really good Xyz monster here. So when a monster is tributed, it basically special summons itself from the extra deck and then attaches it onto the card there. And because we just activated a spell card, you can use the effect of this this monster here to attach a card of a similar type. So the spell card was activated, then attaching the spell. So now this allows this to act as a monster or spell negate, as we have the Disc Colosseum underneath it.
And also here he gets the Rikka sheet from the deck and what a opening from Jessica.
Yeah.
And honestly, I would be super scared if I were Jovan, because how do you deal with this?
Yeah, Sheet is such an incredible card. It's one of the few... So the good thing about this is when you're playing this sort of combo deck, I think that, just having like negate, negate, negate isn't actually always that good potentially. You need like a little bit of variety in your disruption. So here in the option of the Rikka Sheet combining with the field spell, you contribute your opponent's monster and then mind control your opponent's monster for the turn here, which is really good against Sprite.
Absolutely, and the thing is, as you mentioned, costs are what matter, because you cannot really respond to the cost, and with the field spell they are tributed. So we saw how, for example, Marcus won against a lot of Sprite players, I think both in top 8 and in top 4 at the European Championship. So it's definitely a very strong deck, and let's see. Let's see if this Kurikara maybe is in the end and can do something for Jovan.
So as Jovan draws for turn here, let's summarize and see what exactly Jessica has here. So we have the Link 4 Benga Lancer. This is a quick play, quick effect. During the main phase, you can just simply return a monster your opponent controls to the hand.
Yep.
We have the spell or monster negate with the Xyz, and we have the Therian Omni negate with just simply sending a Therian, and the field spell and the Sheet. There's a lot to go through here.
Here I was about to say before this Runick tip that maybe, and it's something that we sometimes debate about, whether you pick up your deck and you don't even show your opponent what you're using. I think if you know that you're done, that's very important for at least getting an advantage in game 2. But Jovan is just gonna try his best, and he reveals to Jessica that he's playing at least a Runick deck. Could still be either Naturia or Sprite, I guess.
If there's any deck in the format currently that can actually deal with a lot of the monsters on the field here, it's definitely Runick. There's a lot of just,
I agree.
Freezing curses, flashing fire. There's a lot of ways to try and fight through here.
Yeah, when we interviewed back YCS Storm and Marcus, who was participating, he was saying the exact same thing, and it's the reason why last minute he didn't play Rikka, because he was afraid of Runick Sprite. So let's see. But
it's really rough when you have to normal summon Sprite Blue here.
But I think he has 2 copies, so kind of forced to go for this. And
now the question that Jessica has to decide here, do we simply bounce the blue to the hand so that it denies you having that level 2 presence so that all of your sprites can extend?
This will be a risk, because now she knows that his opponent is on into Runics, so he has easy access to his extra deck as well if he really wants to put a hogging on the field. She's considering it.
Seems like, okay, interesting approach. Gonna tribute, her own card, but
Picks it up.
Wow.
Incredible there.
Incredible showing. Jessica takes game 1, and then again, I have to wonder whether it was just better to not reveal the deck. Sometimes, obviously, it's not something obvious. You want to try your best. Maybe your opponent just is not paying that much attention or makes a misplay. But I really would have liked Jovan from at least keeping that information. But I want to highlight that he's playing some very unique cards, and one of the cards that probably many people will not agree, but is one of my favorite tribute monsters.
Oh no, please don't say that.
Vanity's Fiend. Yes. I mean, I have sweet memories, sweet and sour memories, I gotta say. But I played it at the World Championship back in 2017, and I like it. I mean, any Runick card at the very worst and basic level
is a tribute.
It's a tribute fodder, you know. So you can go for Vanity's Fiend, and if unexpected, maybe Jessica doesn't even have an out. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, no, something like that when it suddenly hits the field, it really is a polarizing moment. You know, it's not really something that can just be baited out. Like, for example, a singular use of an infinite impermanence. You know, this is permanently staying there on the field, and it demands an answer from your opponent.
And also against the Rikka deck, Vanity's Fiend just does the job at its own, no? So it's
maybe let's check if actually Jessica is playing any outs. Maybe impermanence in the main deck, but outside of that,
she has the Regeki alongside with the triple tactic thrust, which
okay, but at the same time with the Vanities on field, it's not obvious that your opponent is going to activate any effect. Yeah. I mean, you just swing with the boy and call it a day. But actually, she's playing also 2 copies of Dark Ruler, so plenty of possible outs. But do you put those in?
It's hard to say, right? I mean, I think like Runick, obviously. You would think like has a lot of the disruption from the hand utilizing the fountain with the freezing curses, the flashing fire. So generally you wouldn't, I think, probably want to go for monster negates, right?
Yeah, it's interesting. But we also have an additional card, which I don't know if we want to spoil yet. But yeah, let's not do it for now. Maybe we'll see it in action. But she's playing definitely a unique card that I think she can search once again with the 3 copies of Triple Tactic Thrust, which maybe flew under the radar lately, but I think it's an incredible card. Probably just as good as Talent, and sometimes even more. Searching cards like Evenly Matched going second. So let's see. It's gonna be a close one. As you can see here, we're having a show over to all these players here in round 4. Still a long day, 9 rounds today, and 3 more before the cut tomorrow to the top. And let's see. Our players, though, are ready for this game 2. So let's find out whether Jessica is going to just crush her opponent with a 2-0 lead, or whether Jovan is going to make things 1-1.
So going to start off the game here. Most likely wants to go first. There's no way you want to let that Rikka deck do that again. So typical sort of sprite end field. You know, you're trying to draw, get as much advantage as possible, utilizing those fountains. Not once per turn either, if potentially we end up with a heavy Runick hand. But also going for that sprite engine with the sprint, for example, setting up double cross. A lot of disruption you have in this deck.
And I was about to say, here is one of the unique cards from Jovan deck, which is just the 1 copy of Tearlament Merely.
Yeah, this is nice. This is something that you don't really see quite often. And yeah, we said that it is good because basically you had the chance to summon the Stapelia, but here comes an Ash Blossom.
Oh.
Okay, there's the blue.
Sometimes it's really frustrating when you have cards like Ash Blossom. I feel like sometimes they're very low impact against a deck like Sprite Runick. You know, you're holding for that fountain, or you stop the Hugin and it's like, okay, special.
Yeah,
blue.
you just go there and say maybe if he doesn't have it, you know. But yeah, as you mentioned, there are so many key powerful plays in the Runick deck that if you activate Ash Blossom on one and then he has the other one, it doesn't really pay off. But
yeah, it's a deck that's really good at just absolutely slicing through hand traps.
Yeah.
You know.
And I think here also he will have the chance to both combo off, and then on the other side I think he has a Vanity's Field.
Really?
You think he does?
I think he does. He should
see.
Be the last card.
He might. You're right. He might have it, and then it's even better when you are not just using a Runick spell.
I mean, that's the advantage with playing a deck like Runick Sprite. It's not a deck that's reliant on its normal summon whatsoever.
Absolutely. It's the reason why, I mean, even Joshua Smith, when he won the YCS, he was playing cards like Sphere Mode, the Lava Golem. You can play those kind of cards in this deck, and it's perfectly fine. So
yeah, restricting your limit, your normal summon for the turn is fine when every single card in the archetype just says special summon your level 2 monster.
Absolutely, and here, yeah, you go back to a card that has fallen off in popularity a little bit ever since Sprite Elf was forbidden, but it still does whatever you want to do. Hyperia just getting a draw, and also with the Runick spells, the synergy with Vanity Fiend is you can draw it throughout the turn with Fountain and Hyperia. So
yeah, I like it, honestly. I mean, it gives you a little bit of speed, and whenever you're done with the blue and the jet, I mean, it's another piece that you could put on the field. I like it.
I think one of the most important things to mention is, you know, something that's obviously Yu-Gi-Oh! Players love is drawing cards, but the reason why it's so good in this situation is because you can deck thin a lot, and because there's such a heavy draw engine with Sprite, you get to see those side deck cards.
Wow, but Vanity Fiend is discarded, so maybe drew into the second copy, otherwise this would definitely be a surprise if he decided not to go for any at all.
Well, getting the Runick Fountain here, Hugin not once per turn, being able to utilize its effect to get to that fountain despite the first copy being negated.
I think he might have drawn the second copy, honestly, to discard.
But at the same time, does he only have 2 cards in hand or 3? That's my concern.
2.
Because if that's true, then you probably have a spell if you go for the fountain. And yeah, no, because he has the cross. No, okay, he has a second vanity. Yeah, wouldn't it make sense otherwise? So gonna just figure out.
Okay. There it is.
Wow,
Vanity's Fiend normal summoned. And like we mentioned at the start here, it really demands an answer from Jessica. Do you have a response?
But now here the good thing is this board cannot be Regekit because there is the protection from a Yugen.
Yeah.
So it also protects the Vanity Fiend. That's why he didn't
go.
Oh, no. Wow. Okay.
What a punish.
Yeah, I mean Vanity's Fiend is Vanity's Fiend. Sometimes it's just too strong to deal with.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's why it's so good here. It's because obviously, you know, it's an incredibly powerful normal summon that restricts your opponent from playing. But the important thing is, like, your opponent post-siding, they would probably be more scared of the Runick Fountain resolving, all the Runick spells being used as disruption. So generally, I think, you know, something like Cosmic Cyclone is maybe sort of the go-to side deck option against Runick. You wouldn't really think, oh, I need to prepare for Vanity's Fiend.
No, exactly. You don't really expect it. And as we mentioned, maybe Jessica didn't side in any of the cards we talked about. Because basically, you cannot expect it.
You cannot special summon.
I was wondering if we were going for another tribute there.
That's Vanity Ruler, but yeah.
Well, at least the advantage is that we can definitely deal a decent amount of damage. You know, that gigantic Sprite is boosted as it is utilizing the extra deck monster as a material. Gives it a nice
but
beefy
for now,
3200.
he still needs to skip this
battle phase. The battle phase.
So
yeah, true.
Yeah.
She's getting another turn at least, which makes you wonder whether this face down monster is correct. Because if now she draws into an evenly matched, maybe, you know.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Let's see.
I think she's double checking the effect of Hugin's destruction
maybe
protection.
She top decked Regeki and she's like, let me deal with this Hugin first.
Yeah, setting a monster, you know, you're not really in risk of losing all your life points at all. The battle phase skip is, you know, one of the main drawbacks of the Runick deck. Ooh.
Okay, things getting interesting now.
That could potentially be an answer to the Vanity's Fiend.
Yep. Con.
Again, Rikka Con is such a amazing card in this deck to be able to use the tributing effect for the cost here to remove the Vanity's Fiend. And thinking really hard here about how we're going to deal with this. What sort of Runick variant? Oh,
wow! The last card. Wow.
It's a Runick Destruction and also banishing 4 off the top here.
Yeah, banishing.
Oh, there goes she. That's an important removal.
Wow. And talent, and at the same time gonna draw 3 cards.
Yeah.
This is brutal from Jovan.
Returns those back to the bottom of the deck and draws 3 cards. And Runick really showing off why it is such a massive kit. Oh, second copy!
Yeah.
It's gonna have to send pass again.
Down monster, yeah. At least now, of course, Jovan has to skip another battle phase, so she will get yet another draw.
So unfortunately not able to utilize Con's effect to tribute a plant monster, as we do not have a Rikka monster. And I'm sure she maybe has something on the field there, but probably just doesn't have a way to utilize that second effect to its full extent here. So now, it must be said, however, in this situation, okay,
wow,
we're going to double cross the Vanity's Fiend.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
But did he forget that he has to skip this battle phase? That's my question.
It was good point. Good point.
Maybe he goes all in, and then she's like, "Wait, you cannot go for a game right now." That would be really bad, especially if maybe you go, gamma burst or anything like that, and then.
Well, we'll see if Jovan has forgotten here. Sometimes these floodgates can act as double-edged swords. You can just set it up, stop your opponent from playing, but if you can't capitalize on that, then you're back to square one.
Absolutely.
All right, well, we're going to try and set up something else as well, because Jovan does also need to play himself and actually mount a offensive here, going for the Sprite Red to try and set up a negate, but that Vanity's Fiend double cross might come back to bite him. We'll see.
I'm not seeing it.
Yeah.
I
don't see the point.
I think he has carrot and red maybe in the end, but...
Do you think maybe he's in a situation where he recognizes, okay, well, I've managed to stop the main push here for Jessica. Now I need to be able to set up enough that I can disrupt them on their turn and then have my battle phase again on the following turn after that. And that's why we're trying to...
Or maybe he just thought that the priority is getting rid of this Con and that's it, because otherwise his Vanities would have been routed regardless. But still, I don't know.
All right, opting to go for a second copy of Starter there. We've already used that this turn. I think maybe he must have drawn Smashers or something. I would assume one would play Smashers, right?
Yeah, either he drew the Smasher or he sided out.
What I don't like, though, is Jovan seems like he's improvising, like
kind of freestyling.
Yeah, when you take a decision as important as getting rid of both the double cross and the Vanity, I think you have a plan in mind, And it might be that OTK that is not actually doable. So I'm worried for Jovan, but
also the Onimibaru let us think
that
he
wants to try to go for
Yeah.
game. So I don't know.
Potentially going for game with something like Gamma Burst would be the search, and instead he got the Starter.
Yeah.
So he should be aware of the fact there's a battle phase skip here. Onibaru going to banish this until the end of the next end phase. And clearing up here, but again, it kind of begs the question, what are you actually attempting to do here?
I think he might even go like, double gigantic or something, and I don't know.
All right, so I think that's maybe the game plan here, right? We need to like try and put up enough so that we can absolutely just take the game on the following turn.
Yep.
And so by setting up enough disruption here with your Runick cards, it feels like the Vanity's Fiend just did enough.
Exactly. Oh no, but I think he passed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Probably recognize that the battle phase is being skipped this turn.
I mean, this is still an impressive field nonetheless. He has 2 Runick cards in the end. And there he goes. So we need to do something here.
Well, Jessica is flip summoning Lokai. And in order to use the effect of Con, we need to be able to activate a Rikka that actually does tribute. And because there isn't a Vanity's Fiend anymore, we can special summon from the hand potentially and use the Con, but immediately recognizing the danger here on response to the flip summon of the Lokai.
Yeah, Unicorn it is.
Okay.
Are we going to spin? Yep, we are going to spin Lokai. But normal summon has not been committed to this turn, and of course we do not control any more monsters, which means potentially unexpected die also gets you into your main combo here. But there is a lot of disruption still to contend with for Jessica,
Absolutely.
So let's see if she can still fight through. Runick cards in the hand, Sprite Red and Carrot.
She does.
Here comes Princess.
Yeah, Princess coming down, which
allows you to search for any Rikka monster, I believe. And it looks like she's using the field spell to tribute off the Gigantic. But then... no, it's the Carrot that's tributing the Gigantic to negate and destroy. And Thrust!
Ooh, wow.
Alright, so Thrust is a card that has been pretty popular recently if your opponent simply activates a card. in the main phase this turn, then you are able to search any spell and trap from your deck, and you can use it that turn instead of setting it if they control more monsters than you. Yeah.
No, just a monster.
Just a monster.
any,
Yeah. But here, I don't think that Jessica sided in the Regagi, honestly.
I mean,
Even if she
not
had
even
it,
sure
but,
if you would go for that. You probably want to go for,
Yeah.
some
Okay.
combo piece, get rid of the last disruption, and hope that there are not good runic spells in the end from Jovan.
You know, the thing with Runick is just it's so adaptable and very versatile. You know, you're able to just play it in so many different different decks. You know, Sprite is probably the most common one. You know, it has great synergy there. We've seen Naturia.
Absolutely,
recently.
yeah. Naturia, there are even purer runics we have seen with like kind of a burn strategy, yeah.
And normal summon Lokai.
Wow. Wow. Let's see these spells, because they really need to be good.
Yeah, this Link 1 should hopefully have some kind of response. Otherwise, I think Jessica might just have like the ability to go for a full combo here.
Absolutely.
Double checking the effect of Sun Avalon Dryas to see if that we actually can use it, and we're just seeing if there's
There's the freezing curses
Yeah,
from
okay,
Jovan.
okay.
Okay, there's why.
Two plant monsters on the field means that we can still keep going potentially, despite the freezing curses.
Okay.
Sowing off the top there.
Interesting.
Did she banish a sowing early? Oh, that's actually
Wow.
huge.
Yeah, that might hurt. Yeah.
Yeah, important combo piece for the
both
Sun
gone.
Avalon strategy. All right, as mentioned, I think she's probably going to go for a Jasmine here. I think you contribute any monster that Jasmine points, and not just plants.
Yeah, but I think we might see, let's see, the last runic coin in the end might just be a pop. And I would say, yeah.
Flashing fire.
Wow, flashing fire it is. And yeah, I think she
Recognizes
calls
the
it a day and picks up the cards. So it's 1-1. We're going to game 3. Really back and forth one, yeah.
Do you think that maybe we got a little bit fortunate there, removing our Vanity's Fiends? You know, that was it was a bit shaky, I think.
I think so. I think we got ahead of ourselves. We might get a chance to ask Jovan whether he wins his game 3, if he thought he was going to go for game and then realized and kind of improvised, because I'm sure at some point he was improvising, because he stopped for a moment and was just like debating whether to go for what. And I mean, luckily, he didn't actually lost to his own decision, and we're going to game 3. And now Jessica doesn't really need to worry about, you know, Vanity's Fiend. She's just focused on her combo, and do you think she even has anything in the side deck for going first?
Yeah, I noticed something really big there.
Okay.
Naturia Rose Whip is a card that simply says your opponent can only activate one spell and trap for that turn. Which against Runick, I mean, that's bad.
Yeah.
That will be incredibly powerful to see, and hopefully we will get the chance to see it. But I think in a deck like this, you really want to try to see your combo as soon as you can. So I don't think she's going to side in a lot of cards, especially by going first. So hopefully, yeah, we'll go to see the Natural Rose Whip in action.
Probably going to cut just evenly, might add something else. On the other hand, though, let's see, because Jovan has a lot of cards for instead going first. Going second...
It's like decking a Ash Blossom playset. You know, Ash Blossom. I don't think you really want to use it on the Dryas, because you know you might have a hard draw on the sowing. Typically, ashing the sowing maybe gets you there, but it's kind of weird. Sometimes this plant deck can just really power through hand traps.
Yeah, I mean it might not be enough, especially because like Jovan is just not playing anything else rather than that.
But you gotta just side it in and pray it's enough. Sometimes maybe on an unexpected die even it could be enough, you never know. I mean, it depends whether he has experience in this matchup. Ghost Bell on the other hand, not really useful here, but again, it's up to the experience, because if Jovan is not comfortable with the combo, he might have to improvise his side deck patterns as well. Regardless though, they are basically ready for game 3, so let's find out who will be the winner of round 4.
So as you mentioned, Alberto, you don't want to dilute your main deck with so many side deck cards. You know, you're playing a combo deck. You want to make sure you get to that all-important loci as quickly as possible, and just have enough to be able to try and do your full combo through disruption.
Yeah.
I do see one of those cards we mentioned in game 1, which is the Kurikara from Jovan. Actually 2 copies in the end, but it is not the...
Yeah, not the loci.
Yeah, instead, again, the petal is going to be the opening from Jessica.
Okay, so we aren't going to see the explosivity that we noticed in game 1. She really just had absolutely everything and really demonstrates the power of just how much this deck can do. But I think it's going to be a little bit weaker this time round. Okay, we've got a low fire.
Ooh, wow.
Yeah.
Never mind.
This changes
Yeah,
the
never
scenario.
mind.
That is access to loci. All right, well, I think they should be able to go into full combo. We're not going to be able to utilize the Therian Regulus. I think they're plant locked from this point onward with the effect of the Rikka from the hand.
Yeah.
But it should still be enough here.
Yeah, it's still really, really good. On the other side, again, I mean, this will test the water, so whether Kurikara is enough against this matchup or not. At the same time, it could have been a lot of other cards. So we have seen, as mentioned, the Sphere Mode, Lava Golem. So at the end of this match, we probably can discuss whether the Kurikara would have been better or worse than any of those other options.
Do you like playing a sort of combo deck style like this where it has such an important focal point, which is loci? You know, if you have a way to stop that, the deck can sometimes kind of fall apart. Is that maybe a little bit of a glass cannon deck?
Probably is, but it depends on a different series of factors, because like if it's not just a free off, and it's obviously not, you have unexpected die and other cards to get to the card, it's obviously better, but in a 12 rounds event plus top 64, I think going second is also really important. So you have to pretty much, you cannot commit them. You need to really have your focus. And while at the European Championship for Marcus it was possible because going second there were no real threats against your combos. Nowadays it's different because, for example, you could see a lock from Kashtira of all the zones. So it's definitely interesting and good compromise. We'll see, but at the same time, Jessica has been playing this deck for basically a year now. Yeah. So, I mean, I'm sure that even if she had a blindfold on, she was able to play it better than all of us combined. So, I think being confident with the deck is definitely important.
Yeah, I mean, the training that goes in with this deck, blindfold yourself, make sure you got the zone placement right, like that. Yeah. That is in the training dojo. So getting the Therian Regulus here to the hand with the Disc Colosseum, and yeah, I mean, she's got all the plant monsters on the field here that she needs, and still hasn't even resolved the Jasmine. Let's see if we go for that Rose Whip.
Yeah, I think we will most likely see something on the line on game 1, but the Natura Rose Whip, I think, might be dropping soon.
Yeah, that'll be an absolutely incredible way to shut down Runick's. So Kurikara, you know, naturally, I think you probably want to play that for the Kashtira deck, right? Obviously, it has overlap here, and I think it's because like all of those monsters just activate in the turn here. So you take, you know, standby effect of Shangri-La, etc., etc. But I feel like in this matchup it's a little bit harder because you actually have to like force your opponent to do something, like activate their Bengal Lancer to bounce to your hand, activate the Regulus to negate. So by the time you've actually baited out those disruptions, do you think the Kurikara has that much impact?
It's tough, yeah.
I would say maybe not 50-50, but yeah, it's not that impactful, honestly. I mean, maybe, especially in this kind of matchup, you might not be so confident of siding them out, you know? Just, maybe you just, you know, you just say, look, it's better to have them in rather to have them out.
That's all I have, might as well.
Yeah, I mean, the problem I see is that if it's alongside the Rose Whip, then you cannot really force out those negation either. So like at that point, it's tough to even get them there. Yeah.
All right. Well, here's Madan going for the tribute to Special Summon itself, and this gets the Glamour or the Con-Con. Absolutely incredible field spell, as mentioned. Hasn't come up, I suppose, in game 2. Didn't really have that much an opportunity to use it, but when you have your full setup here, it's going to be absolutely incredible. Now, I think with the adding the lone fire.
Yeah, lone
there.
fire.
Okay.
Normal summoned, right? Did we?
No, I think she.
Yeah, she opened the pedal, right? Or
She normal summoned the pedal, right?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, as we talked about a little bit earlier, there's the link climbing capability of Malayas, which special summons back Lokai, and then you go into Bengal Lancer. And don't forget as well, Bengal Lancer has a reborn effect. You can banish monsters equal to its link rating from the graveyard to bring it back. So even if the Kurikara gets rid of it, you can bring it back on the following turn.
True. And at the same time, we shouldn't take time for granted, because this deck, as you can see, consistently gains 600 life points at the very beginning. And there are 10 minutes left, so with the skipping of battle phases from Runick, you know, it's also a thing to consider.
10 minutes remaining, and you know, going to be behind on life points because of the Sunvine healer. Gaining life points, you know, it's the pressure's on for Jovan.
For sure. Also, because I think he might have a starter in hand, so that's even more life points you lose. Yeah. Okay, but no Rose Whip for now. So I mean,
all right,
at least.
Oh, that's so frustrating.
The 6th. You saw it.
Yeah.
Ash wasn't for turn. Oh, that must be so infuriating.
That's always not a pleasant thing, and I don't even know if he has anything to force this out, because he has a Jet and the starter maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. With double Kurikara and Ash Blossom, so let's see if he finds a way to.
I suppose maybe like a starter can get you into a red that immediately contends with one of the disruptions of the Bengal Lancer, but at the same time, if you go for red, you don't get that advantage given by blue and Jet.
But he really needs to speed things up, because now he activated a Runick spell, no battle phase, 9 minutes, pressure's on, need to play as fast as possible, and I'm getting really skeptic here for Jovan chances.
So even though we have multiple copies of Kurikara in the hand, you know, you have to discard it because it's the most useless card, but you're also telling your opponent, hey, I have Kurikara, right?
Yeah, I don't know if it's worth not discarding the Ash Blossom on this stage, but I mean, obviously you need to do it.
Especially because, like, I think you're telling your opponent, I'm discarding one Kurikara, and now Jessica might be thinking, maybe there's another one.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so honestly, now time is really important.
Yeah.
Now that you know that Kurikara might be there, okay, never mind. So at the moment, she's gonna go for the negation from the princess in the graveyard, it seems like.
That's a very obscure effect that doesn't come up. It's probably one of the reasons why a lot of people lose to this deck is they don't realize you have a negate in the graveyard by tributing one of your plants or your opponent's monster if you have Con up.
Yep.
And let's see if she activates the effect of Strenna here. I think because it was tributed, it gets to attach itself onto a monster from the extra deck. Kurikara still not live on any of these monsters.
That's the great thing.
That's the critical thing here, yeah.
Let's see. So the Jet is the only real play that is left for Jovan.
So she might be a little bit hesitant to negate here just because you know, of the danger of Kurikara, but does have their sheets. The Imperm, actually.
Okay. Yeah, wow. But even then, is Kurikara really a danger without a battle phase? That's the thing.
Yeah, like, good point.
Yeah.
We're down to 7 minutes remaining.
And with the sheet face down, it's really so much advantage.
You think that's a weak impermanence at all? You know, negating a second level 2 on the field, just make gigantic.
Yeah, I mean, you can get rid of gigantic with sheet, so it's not a big deal. And this impermanence really tells me that she knows, you know, that the Kurikara is there. She doesn't want to get Kurikara. So this is what's going on here.
Going for a link play here, looks like.
Yeah.
Sprint, maybe?
Into the Merely, maybe. It's going to be the play we wanted to see from ever since we noticed this Merely in the deck from Jovan.
Yeah, he's thinking really hard here about what to go for because, I mean, this is a critical part of the game. Like, if you... Oh, Donner!
Okay.
All right, that should force something out.
Yep.
So Donner is a relatively new card, and it's been something that's been played by, I think, basically every deck has just been running Donner. What does it require? It's just 2 monsters with different types. and you can basically use it as a Diamond Direwolf.
I was about to say, I call it modern Diamond Direwolf, played by most decks, and just a generic removal.
And it looks like a further deficit in life point might be coming down here. No, okay.
So
only going for the Bengal Lancer.
Yeah, unfortunately, no battle phase, and oh, the same column now. Oh my god! The same column, not the same column, Jovan. No. Yeah, you can see both having a little smile, but wow. Yeah, I mean, I
that could be the nail in the coffin.
Yeah, absolutely. If it mattered, I'm not sure, but wow. Too bad. And now, Jessica is free to do whatever she wants, and only moments away from advancing with an impressive 4-0 score.
Jessica down by 1,000 life points, it looks like.
Yeah, because I think when you activate the what's that? The Bengal Lancer.
You pay equal to the monster's attack, I think.
Yeah. I mean,
5 minutes on the clock here.
It's pretty much a formality.
Formality. All right. Well, Regulus is set up here, so any further disruption from the hand.
By the way, I think he forgot about the Kurikara as well, right? The effect in the end phase. Couldn't to summon back something from the graveyard, right?
Oh, does she have a bonus effect?
Yeah, she does. She does.
Well, I love bonus effects. Tell me more.
During your end phase, you get to special summon something from your opponent graveyard, and since the starter was negated by impermanence, I guess. Yeah. I mean,
that's a good point.
I guess.
Yeah, maybe we could have brought back the Bengal Lancer, I suppose.
Yeah, but to be fair, I mean, I don't blame him compared to Jessica. Jovan has a lot less experience at this kind of stage, and now there is a huge crowd that's gathered around to watch this duelist battle it out live, and there is a lot of pressure down the line. So
Jessica taking her time here just to make sure that absolutely every play that she does is pitch perfect here. The finish line is in sight. We just need to make sure that we optimize this as best as we can, and it's looking like we're approaching 8,000.
Absolutely. This should already be enough, but just to make sure.
Yep, there's the other effect of Bengal Lancer.
And this is plenty of damage. Gonna enter battle phase, and the handshake comes down. So congratulations to Jessica. She is the winner of round 4. What a showdown.
That was an incredible display of the plant deck. Full mastery that she has over this deck.
I mean, she showed us, she's been playing this deck for a year, we said that. And I mean, advancing with an impressive record now, and that would be scary to play her, honestly.
Absolutely, absolutely. We mentioned it, how this deck is kind of a sleeper. It has been a sleeper for almost a year now. So, I mean, everyone watching at home should definitely read these cards and know at least how to prepare against it. As you mentioned, it's possible now on Master Duel as well. So why not give it the deck a try? And we are gonna hear soon enough from Jessica why she thinks this deck is still a valid contender. 4-0, so impressive start at the moment. She hasn't dropped a match, and I mean, I don't blame it. As mentioned, the format is kind of an interesting and open state. There are so many different decks, and when such a format is in play, the side decks also get very weird because you cannot really side for all the matchups, and this means that generally when Jessica is facing an opponent, it's quite unlikely that they have specific cards for such a matchup. As we saw here, there were nothing too specific, and I think she's taking advantage of this. So
there's almost like this cycle that you go back and forth every format, which is like a control deck sort of dominates. Then that means people take out the anti-combo cards. Now combo decks like Rikka start to improve alongside it, you know?
Yeah, I mean, and especially, I really believe that people in this format are not familiar with this deck. So, but I mean, we will soon see what happens. And honestly, for people watching at home, still Rikka is there, but we will soon hear from Jessica herself.
Absolutely. So thank you guys once again for being with us. This was round 4 of YCS London 2023, where we just witnessed Jessica using her Rikka deck to just destroy her opponent. And in the Rikka deck, there are a lot of XYZs that are called Rikka Queen, but I wanna rename Jessica the best Rikka Queen probably. We have great piloting over the deck, so let's hear it from Jessica and Ed.
Thank you very much, Marcello. Yes, I am joined by the Rikka Queen here. I've got Jess, who's just won that round 4 match. Congratulations. I mean, we'll talk about your deck in a moment, but how are you feeling after winning that feature match?
Relieved. Last time I had feature matches in 2018 and I messed up massively, so I'm quite happy just to not have that curse anymore.
Were you playing Rikka back then as well?
I wish. No, Goki back then. It was 2018.
Okay, so let's talk about the Rikka deck as well, because I've heard tell from a few of our members backstage that obviously we had Marcus Patel, the European champion in the most recent Euros, that you were actually the mind behind that topping deck, that winning deck. So can you talk to us a bit about that?
Yeah, so I'm myself along with someone else, Alex Robertson, originally started with that deck, and I went away and just worked on it a lot over time, over the next the 3-4 weeks before European Championships, and then Marcus came in, and then we refined the deck further. Yeah, we just had that. What I was one of the main reasons behind that deck. Yeah.
And also, you told me as well that you were responsible for some other topping decks as well.
Yeah, Alex Robertson got second at Nationals with another, the previous before Rikka came out, the Snavalon list, with Rights and Necrosynchron. I also came up with that list and gave it to him the day before the event.
I mean, you are the brain behind the Rikka. What is it that you like about the Rikka deck?
I like that it's all from a vanilla monster. Because vanilla monsters are notoriously just the worst cards in the game. And I like just being able to summon a seed, there's a little seed, and it sprouts into a tree, and then just sprouts into this massive board that your opponent can't beat.
Well, let's talk about that, because in a bunch of these games, I mean, game 1, full combo right off the bat, and you built a huge field. Jovan just couldn't play around it. So when that's happening, are you feeling calm, or are you thinking, oh God, I've got to do this in 2 more games?
When that happens game 1, I'm feeling very calm, because if that resolves, even if they have Lava Golem steer mode, it's still very fine, because we've still got Strenna that triggers when it's tributed. So when that resolves, I'm very confident.
And then we go into game 2. There was quite a strong field from Jovan in that. You had 2 copies of Con. One got negated or got rid of, and then you got the other one out. The Vanity's Fiend didn't really help the situation, but then you took the Sprite Red with the Triple Tactics Talent, summoned Loci, and then there was a bunch of things like the freezing curses from Jovan and flashing fire, so you just scooped. So what's going through your mind in those moments?
So that game, I drew an atrocious hand. I had 2 copies of Loci. I had Ash Blossom, 2 copies of Loci, Twin, and 2 Con. The Con were useless, and the Twins, Loci's couldn't do anything. The reason normally I would never Ash the Runick card, but I had to because I knew if he had any sort of interruption, I lost my normal summon Loci. I'm trying to think how to word it now. I was actually very happy when he summoned Vantage Ruler, because by him summoning Vantage Ruler, it means that he's limited as well. And the only negates he had was Vantage Ruler and Cross. If I was top deck, let's say a Rikka Glamour, I could then tribute that as cost, and then I could set up a board through his Con. Sorry, not his Con. Through his Double Cross, and I would have been in a very, very good position because I knew his card in hand. But unfortunately, I did not draw a Glamour or any Rikka cards. But yeah.
Well, that's why you go straight into game 3. And again, just that full combo and that huge field right from the top. And then there was the really tragic misplay, which made all of the commentators go nuts and the crowd, there was the imperm column. And that's when there was the Sprite starter being played in there. At that moment, are you going, okay, I've got this sealed?
As soon as he had 2 cards in hand, and after activating Kirakara, I kind of already knew I had a game. Even if he didn't make that mistake, I still had the Sheet and the Hypertron to negate and destroy, and a Drawn Lockbird with a load of follow-up in hand. So I was pretty secure in my position regardless.
I was going to ask about Drawn Lockbird and things. Are there things in this that you would typically side for things like the Runick Sprite matchup?
So Runick Sprite's one of the most represented decks right now. I side things like Ash Blossom in, because I think Ash Blossom is just a very good card against the Runick Draw 3. Because I can out-resource and win those games because of my Rikka Petaling Graveyard, which responds stealth every turn. But Draw 3, it beats that. So I think little cards like that, for niche interactions, wins matches like this.
I mean, it sounds like you've really got this Rikka thing down pat, and you've taken this. That's now your 4th win, so you're now 4-0, isn't that right?
Yes.
Excellent. Well, best of luck throughout the rest of your Swiss rounds. I hope we'll see you in that Top Cut with that Rikka representation. Congratulations again, Jess. Guys, don't go anywhere. We're going to have round 5 coming up very, very soon. But before then, it's time for more quizzing. Don't go anywhere.